Hola,
Hi,
¿cómo está?
I don't speak Spanish.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca, Pepe?
That, however, I know is where's the library.
Yes.
Okay, so another MAGFest, another round of he and I meeting up to talk about a Scooby-Doo movie, the last of those three 1981s. This one is Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf.
I thought we were going to do the thing where it's like you're going to say Scooby-Doo and I'd be like, the Reluctant Werewolf, but we didn't do it because you're selfish.
Yes, I am.
Very.
So,
Now, here's the thing I want to say right off the bat. I like all these movies. Not taking that away from them. They all have storytelling flaws, but they're all different ones. Because Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School is very episodic. It just kind of goes from one thing happening to the next with no real connective tissue in between. This movie has rather the opposite problem. It shows how we get from A to B in almost exhausting detail. And Boo Brothers has too much plot and not enough story. But this one, we follow the whole shebang from Dracula realizing that he needs a werewolf to compete in a race, even though he already has one who works for him.
but that one doesn't count because Dracula's a jerk, I guess.
Yes. So we follow it step by step, him identifying Shaggy as the next person who's going to become a werewolf because of an ancient prophecy, and his goons trying to go and get him, and the goons getting him, and how Shaggy reacts to it, and bringing them over to Transylvania, and on, and on, and on, and on, and on.
Because we have to have the wacky races accepted to Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I actually kind of like, the branded racing spinoff, like your Diddy Kong racings, your Crash Team racings, Mario Kart to a much lesser extent. This is my bag, baby. Although, I must say, this movie has a very weird relationship with the idea of copyrights, because all the public domain monsters, in this movie they have the Schlock Ness Monster, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Snide, and Genghis Kong, but on the other hand they have Swamp Thing. Just straight up Swamp Thing.
Yep, Swamp Thing is in this thing. I don't know if he has any relation to DC Comics Swamp Thing, but he's here.
I mean, the way his car acts, that sounds like something that would come out of an Alan Moore story, I'm just saying.
I haven't actually read the Alan Moore comics, so no comment there. I know that they're good, I just haven't gotten around to them.
Whereas I haven't read them, and I know they're good, because that's just the kind of person I am. Although I do want to say, before we get into anything else, there are Marlboro ads in this movie. Right at the very beginning, straight up, just in the background of the race at wherever they're having their first race that shows that Shaggy knows how to race, because we couldn't just, infer that because Dracula wants him to race in his race. We see him racing around, and there's Marlboro ads in the background. I mean, it may not literally say Marlboro, but it's Marlboro.
Well, advertising at young age.
Yes. Copyright. But yeah, it's like, they've got the Marlboro or Malbas or whatever it says, and the Niso cars, and it's just crazy, man. And I don't really have any problem with it because you just learn to accept this sort of thing with stuff from the 80s. But if you ever actually stop and think about it, that is kind of weird. I mean, whatever happened to just Acme?
I don't know. They must have gone out of business.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the nature of the game. That it's a fly-by-night company.
So, let's talk about the race itself.
Yes, it's very punny. It's like at one point someone says, it looks like it's going to be a photo finish, and they're doing a photo shoot. That kind of thing. I think that we had a pretty good lineup of racers. Definitely a little more individual personality than the wacky racers themselves, although the cars were not as memorable, I don't think.
I thought they were fine. They get the job done.
I do want to point out that one of the racers just appears out of nowhere in the story, despite the fact that everybody else got set up beforehand. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Snide.
Yeah, he just showed.
I think someone just came up with the name for the car, the Split Personality Special, and thought it was too good to waste.
Frankly, the car that's the least individualist is Shaggy's.
Yeah.
He basically is just riding a buggy.
It's a Volkswagen Beetle with cow horns. I'm pretty sure this is the car that got demolished and worthless in Brave Little Toaster. Whoa. Swamp Thing and Brave Little Toaster.
We're creating this whole other universe together.
Yep. This is the kind of place my mind goes to when I've been drinking. Oh, don't give me that look where you're not actually looking at me. I know that look. I invented that look. Snide little man.
So...
We have another person in the room, actually. He saw the very end of it. You, white boy, what do you think?
Isaac's over in the corner. He's actually reviewed this movie several years ago.
Well, that's no excuse. With your Nintendo Switch being silly.
Well, first off, the Switch is over there, but second...
They can't see it. You're not on camera. You want to be on camera? I'll give you a nacho sandwich. Yeah, that put you in your place, didn't it? Silly little Jiminy man. Come over here, I could use a footrest.
Not a chance.
I don't pay you that kind of money.
We're getting very off topic on this.
Yeah, I think I just called myself cheap.
Get back on track, you two.
Yeah, we're gonna get back on track.
I guess it's a case of I do like the movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's funny.
I enjoy it, but the most memorable part is just the race. All the setup to that is just get to it already. And
for as long as the race feels, I think it's only like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's 20, 30 minutes, and then there's like a 5-minute extra.
And even then, there's like a kind of like a race before the race because Shaggy does the track on his own. Mm-hmm. Well, not on his own because he's got his dogs. Shaggy has a girlfriend in this movie.
Yeah, her name is Googie, and she only appears in the 50 years of Scooby-Doo in this one movie. I don't think she's ever appeared in anything else.
Yeah, and she's his doting but liberated girlfriend, I think the narrator called her at one point.
And cheered on by his adoring but liberated girlfriend.
Although I did have an interesting thought in that I assumed at the beginning this was just Velma, going through phase, because she's filling the same narrative function as the versions where she's Shaggy's girlfriend. But I think she might actually be Daphne's sister, because if you think about it, this would have come out right around the same time as the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, when the only members of Mystery Inc. were Shaggy and Daphne. So maybe this is like her kid sister or something.
Well, I don't think they ever actually they never actually give her a last name, so...
It's entirely possible.
Here's your fan theory, people.
All in all, though, I'd say I would rank this roughly on par with Ghoul School, a little ahead of Boo Brothers, just because Boo Brothers was confusing when you actually stopped and thought about the plot for a minute. This was, at the very least, a very consistent story, just not the greatest story. And that's my 2 cents in the matter.
It's fine. I like it. It does what it needs to do.
Although I will say, this is miles ahead, or even streets ahead, of that one where Shaggy was doing the Alibaba stories. Because that one, we just created all kinds of headcanon off that one. I think we would try to figure out how Ali Adine fit into like the chronology of Scooby-Doo, and we just went to some weird places. Let alone how Magilla Gorilla fits into it.
Okay, I think at that point we're cutting this off. So, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Shut up.